Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I realized that while our thing plays, it has an unmute button. I'm like, one of these days I'm just gonna like press unmute and then just start going, just be some background music and see if anyone notices.
I think people will. Please don't do that.
What? I could have been in an a cappella group, okay? No one would ever know. I think no one would know.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Hi.
I'm Spencer. That's Caitlin. Welcome to EU Sports. Or welcome back. That's us. Anyway.
Here we are. Cute as ever. Cute as buttons.
If you haven't already, please subscribe, comment so we can chit chat, and because who doesn't want to chit chat with us? And hit the little thumbs up down below.
It's the only way that we know if you like us. If you don't like the video, then we think you hate us.
Free. It's literally
that's so true. You don't even have to pay us $1 to hit the like button.
Yeah,
I could start charging dollars to like our stuff. Well, but that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, so
then they'd be paying us to like us. Whatever. Just like it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. If you didn't know, every single team in the NBA played last night.
All of them.
Every single one.
30.
All 30. I wouldn't say some of them really count as teams anymore, but they were there. Everyone participated. And
it's true.
Who participated the heck out of basketball last night?
I would like to guess that maybe it was the Denver Nuggets and maybe a certain player on the Denver Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets. Oh, the Denver frickin' Nuggets have won 8 in a row. And I don't want to hear, because I know actually guys are coming and all the people and all of you that don't even watch the Nuggets are going to be like, they haven't played against anyone good. Okay. The Blazers were the literal top defense in the NBA in the past 2 weeks. Okay. They were one of the hottest teams coming in to play us.
Was that not sneaky?
And, also, we were out Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon played some of those games. Michael Porter played some of those games, okay? The last 2 games, we were without all of them, okay? We had Jalen Pickett and Zeke Naji getting full into the rotation. And I love them. They've been balling out. But I bet none of you who are Nuggets fans even know who those people are. Okay, that's why it's important for me to say that. But last night, Mr. Murray, if you didn't know, I went to Kentucky. Jamal Murray and I are the same year. I actually didn't even mean to do this. I just wore this shirt to Pilates and kept it on.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Blue Arrow set a career high last night.
That was arrowing.
I am going to move us up. I literally texted Caitlin and I was so pissed that he did not do the blue arrow celebration last night.
Freaking
pissed. But I'm not going to lie, when he was doing I
got goosies. I'm like, I am such a weenie, but I did get goosebumps. Yeah. Because it was like so like subtle, but like he knew.
Because at first I was like, what is it? I was like, is he asking for someone else? And then he like kept doing it. He was like, aura.
Period.
Have you seen the SpongeBob episode or a meme where it's like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? You know that one?
Yes.
This is how I feel. And if you're our Nuggets friends watching, you know. But if you're not and you're listening to figure out how he did this, how many times do we have to tell you to not piss off Jamal Murray? Okay, like literally
every time.
I don't know why you think talking shit to Jamal Murray is ever gonna like get in his head other than make him literally shit on you. Okay. So Zeke Naji comes out. I don't know if you watched the post-game interviews. Zeke Naji basically said that Banton on the Blazers, and if you didn't know, 3 nights ago or whatever now, we played the Blazers back to back, not back to back. Yeah. We played them twice, okay? And the first night that we were playing the Blazers, Jamal Murray was like going off, and Jamal Murray and Banton were kind of like chirping at each other, and Jamal Murray had gotten upset with a call earlier on Nikola Jokic and was like advocating and got a tech. Him and Malone did. And then towards the end of the game, Banton was chirping, and Jamal isn't like one of those guys that like it gets physical. He'll just like talk back to you like really casually, and so that's
he's
what he's
so
doing.
Calm. Yeah,
he's
so
just
calm.
like, he literally looks like me, and like you know, we didn't hear exactly what they were saying, but he just looked like this talking, and then all of a sudden you hear double tech, and he's out of there because it was his second of the night. Okay, so apparently Zeke Naji comes out, and the other night Banton, who Jamal Murray's from Kitchener, Canada, and I guess Banton is from like 30 minutes away, and so they like know each other. He didn't say if they liked each other. I don't think they do. Banton was guarding Murray most of the night, but I guess like Banton was talking mad shit. Okay, rookie mistake, my guy. Rookie mistake. Okay, Jamal came in his press conference and literally said, "Oh, I knew in warmups I was gonna have a good night." I mean, he didn't say he was gonna hit his career high. He was like, I knew I was going to have a good night.
Jamal Murray is like the kind of person, because like if you're anyone, literally anyone, unless maybe like 10% of people, everyone thought that like Jamal Murray was going to have a really crappy year because he had an awful start to the season. But he's the kind of person that like the more you talk shit, the better he gets. Like he's like the kind of person that's like, oh, you think I'm bad at basketball? I'm gonna go drop 50 real quick. I'm gonna go drop 40. I'm gonna go.
He is the epitome of don't poke the bear to me. Like, don't do it unless you literally like. I have never seen Jamal Murray try to posterize someone, and he tried to do that last night, and he got fouled hard because that guy was like, "I am not going to be in your highlight reel."
Absolutely not.
He not gonna do that. But yeah, Jamal, like, just don't do it. And if you do, like, everyone knows in the playoffs, like, they were booing Jamal Murray, and we were like, oh, thanks guys, thanks for the motivation, keep it up, please
go ahead. He'll just play better.
He'll just play better. And it's also, I don't know about you, Caitlin, but my watch says it's February 13th. Okay, this is right when Jamal Murray finally plays himself back into shape. Okay.
This is
okay.
It's one thing that makes me so mad.
As annoying as it freaking is, you know, all of you, you know, I'm gonna kill him. Okay, but Jamal Murray, this is when he is like in his best shape, and I want to say he looks better than last year. He looks healthier, in my opinion.
I agree.
Like his legs, you know, because I fully believe that he wasn't fully healthy in that like Timberwolves series. He looked. It didn't look right. It didn't look like
he wasn't
Jamal
fully
Murray.
Healthy at the beginning of the season either. I feel like some of his other like injuries or like the time that
his niggling injuries
gives me shivers down my spine every time. I'm like waiting for like the FBI to come out and yell at us. I don't know. I'm like, I'm sorry. Anyway, but like, yes, I'm like, you know, some of his injuries that he's like taking kind of breaks from and everything throughout the season. I feel like he's obviously utilized that time to kind of maybe work on the injuries that have been hanging out for, you know, a year or so. Because you're right, he does look, I mean, by far the healthiest that he's been this season. But especially great. Kool-Aid man, delicious. Honestly, Nikola Jokic is kind of the Kool-Aid man. I kind of think like that's like a good comparison for him. Like he just gives me vibes of the Kool-Aid man. I just wanted to say that. Anyway.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for you to explain, but you didn't really have an explanation, so continue.
Wait, is he the one that says the Kool-Aid man? Wait, is he the one that says great? Oh, no, that's Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, girl. Frosted Flakes. They're great.
What does the Kool-Aid man say?
He just busts into houses and shit.
All right. So maybe he's less the Kool-Aid man. I'm going to redact that last statement. Retract.
All right. Yeah.
I'm good with words if you can't tell.
Continue.
Anyway, I feel like once All-Star break comes, he's going to have like that extra week of rest. I mean, obviously he, again, is not an All-Star. Never use that against us ever again. Nikola Jokic does not have an All-Star teammate. Just saying. Even if Jamal Murray is playing really well, he's not an All-Star. But I think he's going to utilize that All-Star break, heal up even more, rest up even more. And I think the league could be in trouble when he comes back. If he's going to be playing like this.
He's been playing so good the past like 2 months, really. And even like we've had some other guys get going, and he's done a really good job of not being like a negative in those games that he's not. Totally. And even if he had like 10 points, I think the other night, but he had like 7 assists and like 6, something like that. He was kind of getting a hand in all of the game. And he wasn't taking a bunch of shots. So it wasn't like, oh, Jamal had 10 points. Like he shot, the
10%.
4 for 18, it's like he shot like, 4 for 6 or something like that. So, luckily
he recognizes when his like shot is off too. I feel like he knows, and he just kind of takes that opportunity. Thankfully, when you have Michael Porter Jr. in the game and he's shooting well, and if Russ is in the game, Russell Westbrook, please come back. And Nikola Jokic, we miss you. Nikola Jokic, and when CB is playing the way that CB has also been playing, averaging 18 plus points a game. I think he kind of recognizes that he can just be a facilitator those days.
He's being
when his
more
shot
mature
is off,
about it. I feel like last year it felt a lot of, because he was out for a good bit of like the first kind of half of the season, first quarter. And Reggie Jackson was kind of like, he was playing really well, in that starting role. And then Jamal came back, and it almost felt like he was doing the most. And we were like, please stop.
He was like almost like trying so hard to catch up and prove that he was back and that he was fine.
He was the starter, which he is. And it, there's still some nights where I'm like, Jamal, why did you take that? But as a whole, like especially in the past like couple weeks, it's been super team oriented, and he had the game ball last night. So again, if you didn't watch the game or something, Jamal Murray had 30 at the half, and then he ended up scoring 55. His previous record was 50. And it was so scary, not scary, but he had 49, and we kind of let the lead slip a little bit because homeboy was hunting for that, just to get 51.
I always say if you're trying to get a record, you're not going to get it. You got to let it come to you.
That's like Mike the other week. And that's how it felt like. He, there were a few shots that... Yeah, the Celtics at literally the beginning of the year. So we kind of let the lead slip a little bit, which I'm like, honestly, it helped him get more. So... Truly. He hit his career high. He got the game ball, and he had it up with him during his post game, and it was signed by all of the guys. And he said, "I
literally have goosebumps and tears."
He said, "I brought this up here because I couldn't do it without these guys."
And literally the game ball was just like signed by all the players, and he was just like, he was so happy and he was so proud of it. And like it's just like you and I were texting the other night. Like one of my favorite things is just like. Team sports are so good because like a lot of the times when you have humble superstars or just humble athletes and stuff like that, like, he's right. Like a lot of the shots that he made, he wouldn't have been able to make without, Jokic setting him up or CB setting him up or Zeke Naji, setting a pick and being able to do X, Y, Z.
Them finding him because, they realize that he's hot. He's got it.
And setting him up and feeding the hot hand. And just like, I feel like, the fact that he recognizes that. I mean, 55 points is a monster game. He literally
great
had
efficiency.
8 free throws.
It was almost 70% true shooting. I think it was like 68.9, or
which is
something like
that. Crazy. Yes, which is, just an insanely efficient night. And I get it.
And a couple,
it's
he
the
had
Trailblazers, but
he threw a heave to end the half. He pulled a Jokic and tried a heave, which he did not get. But I'm like, there were a couple of shots that were misses that shouldn't have counted, obviously, because they were just ridiculous. But I beg you to go watch the highlights of that game because there were like a few scoop layups that he made that literally like bounced, I think twice, that bounced off the backboard and just sat there and then finally tipped in, and he was just like sitting on the ground. And it was
just
so,
like it was such
Bubble Murray.
Yes, it was such like a
Vintage
such
Bubble Murray.
Yeah, such a fun night for him. Just like I always say this, and I will beat a dead horse with it. There's nothing like players playing with joy. And, a lot of the time when players, especially someone like Jamal Murray, who like knows that they can compete at that level, but, starts the season with 10 points a game and 3 assists and, is like having the worst start to a season ever. And then having him be able to hang on with his team. Like, I feel like this team has fought through a lot of adversity and a lot of people doubting them all season. And they literally, went from, God, what were they? They were like 10th at one point at the beginning of the season because like everyone was fighting for, just any places in the seeding. And trying to just win games. And we were playing so bad and so embarrassing.
so bad.
I literally at one point, I literally was like, what if we stay in the play-in? Like, what if we stay seated like down here and we stay in the play-in? But I feel like they fought through like a lot of adversity and they've won a lot of really tough games. They've lost a lot of stupid games. The Wizards, the Trailblazers the first time.
Do we need to bring it back up?
I'm just saying that's why I was concerned because they've been through, I know, they've just been through so much adversity. And so for this team to just like be having such good vibes, even with several of their players injured, like these guys are still on the bench, so hyped for their team. And, these guys are able to come out and play as a team now. And, we're gonna figure out that defense by playoffs, I promise. And then you won't want to see us because then we'll be extra good.
Nuggets have already showed that they're just lazy, okay? And they'll
score 160 before they stop you from scoring one.
Well, no, I just meant our earlier win streak before we had those like awkward 3 games in between our 8 game win streak. Now we were a top, top 3 in defense or something. So I'm not worried about the Nuggets at all. They've been there, and we were like 15th in defense going into the playoffs, and then we were a top 3 defense our championship year. So I'm actually, before I was really concerned, but now that I've seen them turn it on, I'm like, oh, you guys are just like being lazy because we're not even past the All-Star break. But like they have showed that they have that.
They can. Yeah, they can.
Yeah. Moving on to another player, we have to talk about Christian Braun, which we call CB. I am so aggravated at the national media. I mean, we already know you didn't want to talk about Jokic for 500 years anyway. But now we have another player who has moved into a starting role, and he's not like in the conversation for MIP, and everyone's like, well, Cade's gonna win it. I'm like, Cade had an amazing year last year. What, like, of course he's only getting
together. Yeah,
he's only getting better. But I'm like, Christian Braun has gone, like, he's upped everything. Like he
doubled almost everything,
including efficiency. And I think the funniest thing was that like he was supposed to come in as our, not KCP, but fill that role of like our defensive menace.
3-and-D guy, yeah.
And I think what's most hilarious is how efficient offensively he is. And he's like a good defender. Like,
he's fine.
He's not elite, but he's good. And it's like, out of all the amalgamations of like what could have happened this year, like I didn't think it was going to be Christian Braun literally averaging like almost 20 points a game. He's number 1 in transition points right now. He's a monster.
Our transition king.
He has some of like the best touch, like his Euros in transition, and then like the way he'll pull back and slow down because he's so fast.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Yes, that's what I was about to say is like one of the things that always amazes me, and it's something that even like the best of the best still can't do sometimes, is like CB's so athletic and so strong and so fast that like he'll get a steal, or, he'll be already halfway down the court when someone else gets a steal and they'll throw it up court to him. But he's going like highest speed possible, and he can still like slow it down perfectly enough and lay the ball in just so calm and so comfortably. Like his efficiency in transition is incredible. Like he's not someone that I ever worry about when it comes to, you know, throwing the ball, you know, all the way up court or down court to him. He's amazing. And
that's
I'm
the first
so
thing.
with
Jokic automatically looks up. And he's just been, he's become so efficient at playing Jokic ball, which I promise you, if you run in transition, Jokic is always going to find you. And if you cut a lot, Jokic is always going to find you underneath the basket. And I think, you know, when you have people like Jokic and Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr., you're like assumed top three, where people are trying to make sure that, you know, they're always on help defense on them or double teaming or close to it or covering those bases. They sag off of CB a lot. And I don't think and I think lately they've realized that they can't do that, but he's just been so incredible. And, you know, even I need to look up how much he had last night, because it's like, even though it was like kind of the Jamal game,
I got you.
I have it pulled up. Christian had 21, 10, and 6, 2 steals and a block. He had a double-double on a night that he's, you know, like, again, like, just, you wouldn't even think about it, because he has just been such an efficient, perfect role player for us. And I'm honestly like scared and also like happy, I guess, that they're not talking about him, because I don't need any other teams trying to get Christian Braun. And I also don't need him to get more expensive, because I think his rookie contract is up soon. So that's what I worry about.
Because he's in year 3 currently. Yeah.
So that's the only thing with Christian, you know, I'm like, oh shit. I mean, you're really amazing, dude, but like, chill out. Maybe we should fly under the radar.
And if you don't know a lot about CB has won a championship at every level, high school, college, and in the NBA.
I think they won high school like 3 times in a row or something.
Literally it's like multiple times. Like he's a winner. He is a born winner. Yes, he's always been like that. And like the greatest thing about him is like that he's one of those people that like you can always expect to put in the work and put in like the hard work, the dirty work if you need him to, you know, go guard your best offensive player for a few possessions. Like he's all in. He's going to do it.
He's up for the challenge always.
Exactly. And it's just like, it's so fun to watch him. And he's genuinely grown so much. Like you said, like about the MIP conversation, I really don't know, because I mean, last year he was averaging like almost 8 points a game, and you know, something like really small. And like just in his last 15 games, just kind of as we've been rounding the corner to this last half of the season, he's averaging 18.5 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game. I mean, like that's like your third best player. Like
I did not think that he was literally going to become like. And the thing is he has been so consistent, and we've struggled a lot with that.
All
like,
season.
You know, sometimes Michael has a good night. Sometimes Jamal has a good night. Rarely like sometimes they have good nights together. But again, it's like, it really depends. And CB has like been that constant guy who's going to grab you rebounds and going to get you points. And
you want to know who he reminds me of?
So proud of him. Who?
He reminds me a lot of Andrew Wiggins on the Warriors, because Andrew Wiggins on the Warriors was like always that guy. Like we used to joke because he literally would get 17 points every single game. Every game. Didn't matter. Like he was good for 17 points. And that's just kind of like what CB reminds me of, is like the kind of guy that like you can consistently expect to get anywhere between like 13 and 20 points. And he's going to be grabbing rebounds. You know, he's going to grab you anywhere between 5 and 10 rebounds, and assists. He'll always be passing the ball. He always, for the most part, makes good choices. And he's really, really blossomed.
He's definitely like a low mistake player for the most part.
I agree.
You know, for once, I don't really have a ton to say about Jokic other than like, you know, his quiet night last night was a 25-point triple-double. Yawn. Washed.
I was gonna
Loser.
text you last night and be like, "Did you see Jokic's stat line? What a freaking loser!"
Man, 25-point triple double was it. He hadn't even taken a shot like in the first half of the first quarter, and I think that's like again literally his dream. He was like, "Jamal has it going tonight." Yes. Like,
can we?
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say Jokic totally lives for when his teammates are having good nights because he's like, I can just pass the ball. I can just find my guys and pass the ball. Like, I don't have to score. Yeah. But like, I do just want to say the one thing about Jokic I wanted to talk about was the halftime. At halftime when CB was shooting free throws. Was it CB? I think it was. He was shooting free throws at halftime. And because he went up for a layup.
The tip?
Yes.
That was Jamal.
Was it Jamal?
Jamal missed a free throw and Jokic tipped it in.
Okay, thank you. I was like, it was either CB or Jamal. That's what I thought. Okay, so it was Jamal. Jamal was shooting his free throws, and he made his first one, and then goes and misses
There's like
the second
0.5 seconds left.
0.5 seconds left on the clock at halftime. And this is like the one thing that's incredible about Jokic is that like any time left on the clock is time enough to score. That's why he always says like even if there's 1 second left on the clock and we're on the opposite side of the court, they're gonna hand it to him and he'll literally throw a full court shot. Like he's gonna try no matter what.
He has like 18 heaves this season, which is obviously more than anyone in the NBA. And he
tries always.
He's fourth in 3-point percentage, I think. And again, if you take out the heaves, because he only has made one of them, he was so vindicated by the fact that he made that one like full court. Now he's never gonna stop. And like Jamal Murray doesn't usually miss free throws. Like he's our designated like technical take
free throw
shot
shooter.
Taker. Yeah, technical free throw shooter. And he missed that second one, and Jokic like came from the top of the key.
Yes, he was waiting behind Jamal. Yes,
and
he was waiting behind Jamal.
And just volleyballed like little tap to get us an extra 2 points.
And I mean, like, genuinely, like, he didn't hold the ball. He didn't, like, aim his shot. Like, Jamal was shooting his free throw, and Jokic was behind him. And the second that the ball left Jamal's hands, Jokic sprints through, through the key and everything like that, and just literally taps it in. Yeah. Easy peasy. And just gets the extra 2 points.
And on Monday night, he had, he didn't have a triple-double.
Corner.
Again, loser. Well, yes, I'm sure most of you have seen his Sombor triple literally falling, but he had 40 points, seven rebounds, 8 assists on almost 70% field goal percentage, and 78.4% true shooting. He had 30 points was it the half? I take it back. Just kidding.
Was it the
in 3 quarters? In 3 quarters, yeah. So I can't with Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray even talked about him in his post-game presser. He talked about how, he was like, it's just like so insane how Jokic is obviously always getting double teamed, but then he either like knows how to just move his body a different way or find everyone else like where they are. And he's like, I just don't think y'all understand like how hard it is. And Jamal's like, I'm trying to like implement some of what he does because it's just like literally insane. And I think my favorite part of this year is that Jokic has just like gotten even smarter. It's like as if that was possible. Like his like literal basketball IQ just increases more. And that's weird. I wanted to kind of talk about and we're going to get so much hate on this, but hear me out. Walk with me. The Nuggets are only a half game behind Memphis right now. They're in that battle for the 2 seed. You have, I think towards the end, it's obviously going to be OKC and Nuggets. And I'm not even saying in the Western Conference Finals, just kind of like the top 2 like seeds. But the thing is, Caitlin, you know who's been there before?
Us?
The Nuggets. And you know who hasn't and has showed now, even in the in-season tournament, and I'm going to get so much hate because you OKC fans are literally so ruthless and mean. Don't care. I'm going to be nice to you anyway. Yeah, the in-season tournament lights were too bright. You know, last year, you know, I will say they are a literal defensive force. Okay, they are like 4 points above everyone in defense, like the entire league. And if you didn't know this, the gap between first and second teams in defense is the same gap between the second and 11th team. Okay, so I'm not saying that OKC is bad in any way.
Wow.
I'm just saying, if I'm betting on I'm not betting on anyone. I'm so sorry to beat Nikola Jokic when everyone else is, you know, healthy, productive, if Jamal looks healthy. I'm not betting on anyone to beat Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets 4 times.
Yeah,
that's a lot of times. In a one-off, maybe 4 times.
That's so true. For me, I think that, like, in my heart of hearts, as a Nuggets fan, I'm like, we're literally champions now. Like, sorry, give us the ring. Like, in my head, that's...
I see Jamal not looking like he's like literally limping last night. I was like, oh, it is over for the league. Over.
Yeah. But you're right. Like, for me, like, I can't discount what OKC has done just because they've been consistently this incredible all year.
No matter what, and it's really annoying.
Yes, literally. I think it would feed families to have a OKC Denver Nuggets Western Conference Finals. I know that it might not pan out that way. But like, just, your 2 top MVP candidates going against each other, 2 of the most fun. I know that people will argue that Nikola Jokic is not fun to watch because he's boring and slow or whatever. But if you really like basketball and you spent any time watching him, you would just be absolutely appalled by the things that this man does. And Shea, I get it. Shea is fun to watch a lot of the time because he is like that fast, athletic, like, he's the kind of person that like you
when
want,
he
like
drives
John
to the basket. Like, honestly, I was watching the other night and I'm like, honestly, I think I might understand why he's getting all these fouls because he's literally going so fast that I don't even think that they can see. And they're like, oh, well, we'll just blow the whistle anyway. So it's funny that you say that. And I don't know if we're even going to talk about OKC. So I'm going to throw this in here while we're talking about just the 2 of these teams together. I was watching their game last night and I was like, you know what? Like, because the thing is like, I always get defending your favorite players and defending your favorite team. I'm never going to be nasty to someone about it who disagrees that the Nuggets are their favorite team. I get that a lot of people are like, who are the Denver Nuggets? Like, you guys have Nikola Jokic and what else? Like, if you don't spend a lot of time watching the Nuggets, you're not going to think that we're as good as we think that we are. But if you spend a lot of time watching them, you would understand. OKC and just like
gets
we probably
watched a
don't
lot.
think, your team is as good as so
exactly. Yes, it's a bias, and I'm going to always admit that I have that bias, and that I'm always going to think my team is the best. I am a
call
fan
the Denver
of
Nuggets the best franchise. And everyone cooked me. I was like, it's my team. Of course I'm going to say
let me love them. Jesus. Yeah. Like, for me, I'm like, I'm also a fan of the Golden State Warriors. And I literally was like, I've got Steph Curry on my team. We're going to win 3 championships in a row while he's 40 years old. Like, I know that I'm insane. Okay. Like, I think that all my teams are going to win the championship, and that physically can't happen. So like, let me be delusional.
Impossible.
Literally impossible. But what I was going to say is, so I was watching the OKC game last night, and OKC fans, don't clip this. Don't be sending it around. Okay, it's the only time I'm going to be nice. But I saw several plays where SGA got fouls called, and he was not grifting. And someone pointed out to me the other day, and I really appreciated this comment because it made me kind of like, not watch it differently, but like watch a little bit more intently, because every time I see him like flail his body, I'm like changing the channel. I'm like, never again. I cannot. No, thank you. And OKC, if you didn't know, they've had like kind of a rough start to the week. Like they were getting their butts kicked by, I don't even know who it was the other day. They were getting their butts kicked in the beginning of the game. I think it was the Heat, and then they ended up winning.
That was last night. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then they ended up winning. But at the beginning of the game, I was just, I was watching, and like Shea's shots weren't falling in. And so I told Spencer, I was like, I just said out loud that OKC is down by 8 in like the first few minutes of the game. Shea to the line. Like, it's going to be Shea to the line. That's exactly what's going to happen is he's going to get himself to the free throw line, which, again, it's not my favorite, but, you know, you do what you got to do to help your team win. And it was really funny because literally 10 seconds later, literally he went to the line like several times in a row. But so I thought that was funny, but that's not even what I'm trying to say. I kept watching. I'm just going on rants today. I kept watching, and you know what? It was actually very impressive. He's so fast and smooth with the ball. He takes, for the most part, very good care of the ball. I think he had a few turnovers yesterday, but for the most part, he can be incredibly fast and incredibly athletic while also taking care of the ball. And there was, at one point, defenders trying to keep up with him and trying to stay ahead of him, because when you're playing one-on-one defense on someone like Shea, your feet are moving fast AF. It is so hard, unless you are an incredible one-on-one perimeter type defender. It is so hard to be able to keep accurate spacing. That's why, like, what Dyson Daniels does and what Alex Caruso does, guys like that are incredible because they can defend guys like Shea without fouling multiple times. But there were just people trying to be on Shea, and Shea was just playing regular basketball. And these guys would try to get so close up to him, and they were hooking their arms around his because he just went for the shot and they didn't know how to get out of his way. And I'm like, all right, I see that. I see what people are saying about him being so fast that defenders can't give any space and that defenders can't get out of the way before he shoots sometimes.
I was like, preface that, girlfriend. Yeah.
That's why I said, yeah, sometimes. Like I said, I watched him in the beginning make himself go to the free throw line. So I witnessed the regular SGA, but I do just want to say that I see what you're saying, and I understand. And that not all of his free throws are grifty. You're welcome. But save it.
A lot of them are. Anyway, I want to move on to the Phoenix Suns. Is their season cooked?
Yes. I mean, I feel like you and I have known that for like ever.
Funny you say that. I was going to say, I've been, not to say that we know ball or anything, but while all of you have been trying to say that they're contenders, you know who has not wavered? Is Caitlin and I, since the summer, since before we even watched this team play, have said, this team has no defense. Nurkic and Plumlee can't do anything for you. Well, you had to get rid of Nurkic. They had to bench Nick Richards the other night when they lost. And then they lost again last night. They've now lost 3 in a row. They have absolutely zero defense. Okay. And then again, their big 3 is never healthy. And I just want to say that they are cooked. When you have to start Bol, and you know what? Shout out Bol.
Because he had such a good game.
He had himself a game the other night.
I was literally so hype watching him. I was like, Bol.
But when Caitlin and I found out that Bol was starting 2 games ago, I was like, that's a choice.
That's literally what we both were like, that is a choice. That is someone who is in the starting 5.
My butt is in the seat. My eyes are glued to the TV. And he actually did a great job, like protecting the rim. And
he was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, again, Wemby's not the only like 7'3" guy. Wemby just has like 3 inches more wingspan than him, which is very disturbing when you think about it.
And a disgusting 3-point shot, which is so unfair.
Yeah, I mean, I texted Caitlin though. So Bol, like his first minutes, his first like start, I think ever probably in the NBA.
Oh,
and
incredible.
He literally had like a block and then an assist and then a steal and then a pull up 3-pointer. I was like, Bol question mark?
Several really amazing possessions. And you know what? He's the kind of guy, like, I feel like he's always had such a good attitude, and I don't know him personally, so maybe he's an asshole.
Everyone loves him, though. He has been a fan favorite. Yes. He was in Denver. Everyone loved him.
Forever.
Everyone is obsessed with him in Phoenix. Like, he is a fan favorite, and it's hilarious.
He is, and he's just like I said, he seems very sweet, very genuine, just like he's very much so a stay ready guy. Like he's been on the deep bench, and this Suns team has gone through so much front court, like at least with your 4s and 5s, like just so many big men they've gone through. I mean, I guess you have KD, so maybe not so much the 4, but they just have so many guys that they have been through. I mean, between going back and forth, benching Plumlee, benching Nurkic every other game. Like they literally were going back and forth benching them. And then, of course, you get rid of Nurkic and you add in Nick Richards. And then Nick Richards doesn't perform the way that you're hoping he performs. Then you bench him. And it's just like, it's such a mess in their front court that like you physically can't do anything. If you don't have any good rim protectors and you don't have anyone that can really score inside the paint besides Kevin Durant, like nothing is going to happen for you. And I mean, like they have an incredible perimeter, set of perimeter guys. They have Grayson Allen. You've got Devin Booker. Obviously you have KD who can do a little bit of everything. Shout out to KD for 30,000 career points. Like, you have all these guys like who can score and who are amazing scorers. Devin Booker just became the number 1 scorer in franchise history for the Suns and everything like that. And so like you have these guys who are breaking records and breaking offensive records, but you are lacking depth and you are lacking defense. And, just with your big 3, even if they're injured, you can get to the first round. But just like last year, you're just going to end up getting swept in the first round by whoever you play. You get 8th seed and you end up playing OKC and you get absolutely worked inside the entire game and just completely obliterated on defense. I don't think that they have a path. They don't have a path to the finals. I
texted Caitlin because I could not believe the night, 3 nights ago that KD got the 30,000 points. Mm-hmm. The last possession, they're down it was a dogfight towards the end. I know what you're
talking about. Mm-hmm.
It was a dogfight towards the end, and they could have, had a chance to, if they had made a 3 and then probably fouled. There was a way, okay, to win this game, And the very last possession that they get, KD is dribbling it up, passes it to Bol. Bol rightfully passes it back to KD. Literally,
he said, not me.
Like WTF, Kevin Durant.
I'm Bol, Kevin. I'm not taking the last shot.
And it's the last shot. And then Kevin Durant passes it back to him and makes him take the last 3 of the game, which they bricked, and then and then the game was over. And I could not believe I was like, the guy that literally just hit 30,000 points in this game. Only 8 people in the entirety of the NBA have done that. That is no small feat. It's incredible. Okay,
it's insane.
And I'm like, huh, Bol.
Yeah. The guy who's getting his first NBA start.
Be so for real.
Come on.
Be so for real. The Phoenix Suns are cooked. I don't think they have anything to go in the season. I didn't want to talk about them forever, so that's kind of all I had to say. But I don't think there's any hope for them.
Me neither. And RIP to them. I don't know how they're going to fix it. You've got a great coach in Budenholzer. They're already talking about how KD's going to get traded. And if KD gets traded, if KD gets traded, what? Yeah, I mean, if I were the Suns, you have to have respect for Devin Booker and let him go somewhere else. You can't keep him hostage. Yes.
Please. That's how
I'm literally so good.
Save KD. It's the end of his career. Save Devin Booker.
Build around Bradley Beal. You work on that with his no trade clause.
Yeah, y'all have fun with that. I just have to mention this team real quick because they're my guilty pleasure team, which is fitting because it's if you haven't heard their song, it's the Pistons Win Again. I have to play it. Hold on.
Can you please? I don't think I've listened to it.
It's on TikTok.
You know, the Pistons won again.
Can you hear it?
You know, the Pistons won again.
Just wait.
Pistons won again. Sir. I'm not saying.
Pistons won again. Pistons won again. So this was the other night, though. This was them
Pistons won again.
them saying coming off.
So the Pistons won again.
And then
yes, I saw that video. I love it.
And then Asar goes, I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
So, the Pistons won again. And the other night, if you didn't know, Malik Beasley, RIP, former Denver Nugget, he beat the...
Love him.
I think it was the singles season. Hold on. Beasley made 7 3-pointers on... It plays... wow, that was a lot. So they played the Bulls back to back. That's what it was. Okay. And they first of all, the Pistons annihilated them on Tuesday, and they were up by 50 at one point. 5-0 in the third quarter. Okay.
And still won by 40 with, deep benching.
Malik, their garbage time started literally in the second quarter. Malik Beasley was 7 for 10 from 3. And after that was his 212th of the season, which is a new Detroit Pistons single season record. Sadiq Bey had it originally with 211. And that's so crazy to me because it's literally only February.
That's so true. He literally has 2+ months, and they're like in playoff contention.
They're
literally 6th in the Eastern Conference. So they could be playing throughout.
Since December, they're the 7th best record in the NBA.
Yep.
That's insane.
The whole ass NBA.
So the Pistons won again, and they put belt to ass both nights.
They're just fun to watch. It's a bunch of young dogs. I love them.
I love Cade Cunningham. He had last night 29 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. I really love Jalen Duren on this team. 16 points, 14 rebounds last night. And then Asar Thompson, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. You just have a whole bunch of young guys, and they just look so happy for each other. I hate to say this because I'm going to sound, y'all are going to make fun of me, but they for real got it out the mud. They were in the trenches last season. Trenches. And now they are going on and doing so well. And you can just tell that they've built this camaraderie of all losing together. And when Malik Beasley finally he apparently had checked with the their announcer people or the people that commentate on the games, and he was like, how many is it? And they were like, you need one more, at one of the breaks. And as soon as he got it, he literally they called him out, and he to go back to the bench for a timeout or something. He literally hopped all the way over and jumped into one of the guy's arms. It's just, they've been so fun to watch. And Cade obviously is an incredible leader, no matter that he's super young and it's his second year. But I think that, the Pistons aren't the team of old, aren't the team of days past. And I love them.
The Pistons, to me, are the Eastern Conference's Rockets. A bunch of guys, several guys that got drafted into the team. Last year, the Rockets were one of the bottom teams in the Western Conference. The Pistons were obviously one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league last year. I don't remember if the Wizards ended up being worse than them by the end of the year. But, two awful teams that have come out and have just built beautiful basketball, and they're able to be excited for each other and hype for each other because they were so bad and they went through the mud together, like you say, and now they're just building their way out of it and playing great basketball, and they have fantastic team chemistry. I think because of that, when you lose together, it makes winning together so much more
much sweeter. I love them. You know who is really, 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 really losing? The Sixers. They need to wrap it up. Get well soon. Adios. You know when Bronny James scores more points in a game than Paul George, you've got some issues, man. Okay, last night they lose. Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid were out. Obviously, it was a back-to-back. Joel Embiid was not going to play then. The Sixers are just so bad, man. Paul George in 30 minutes had 2 points.
He was 1 for 7.
They wanted to trade Michael Porter Jr. for Paul George. People wanted that.
Never.
People wanted that. That man is old. Let the man.
I am not people.
Podcast P. Stick to the podcasting game. Paul George stands for please get better. Please get well soon. Please go out the league. Please go to Canada. I don't know, anywhere else. Paul George, I'm so sorry, but like when you have your two like top guys out, and it's like, okay, Paul George, like you can run the game, right? Like you can run the crew for one night for us. No, he could not. He said,
it hurts so bad because like I've always loved Paul George too, and like it's like the same with like him and Kawhi and everyone else, and I'm just like watching them. I'm like, you need to hang it up before the game hangs you up, baby. Like
pack it up, bestie.
Quit the game before the game quits you.
Like in my eyes, like I want to end on a high. Like I'm not ending when I am playing 30 minutes and getting 2 points. Like, mind you, I'm not playing in the league at all. So I, you know what? Like, you don't have to listen to my opinion at all, Paul George. You're making millions of dollars.
Straight up.
But
period.
Why don't we just focus on the podcast? Because the Sixers, they need to get rid of Joel Embiid this summer. Like they honestly need to. You know, my worst take of the season must have been in the offseason, me saying that this is the 76ers' best chance to win a ring because they had so many people around them. No.
You know what? I'm going to save you on this one because one, I agreed with you, and I'm not going down with you here, bitch.
I'm sure I'm not the only one.
I'm just kidding. But we talked about this a lot in the offseason, and I genuinely believe that if their team were healthy, like I'm talking a healthy Paul George able to actually play, a healthy Joel Embiid who plays more than 14 games in the entire season, a healthy Tyrese Maxey who didn't F up his wrist or whatever the heck it was where he was out for several weeks, Jared McCain not, having to get surgery or season-ending surgery. There were so many like major and bad injuries. And then I feel like they were set up so nicely on paper. It could have been so good. But these are just a bunch of guys besides Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is overall a very healthy guy. But like the rest of them, I'm like, these are guys that are just very injury prone. And like, yes, in their best years, they were incredible, but they can't stay healthy long enough to be incredible. And so I think you're right. I think they got to wrap it up. They got to hang it up. I just don't know who's going to pick up Joel Embiid though. If the Sixers get rid of him. Yeah, period.
I mean, there's so many like rebuilding teams that'll spend all of their money randomly to get Joel Embiid.
Though? Like to get someone that's going to only play 20 minutes and you have to spend $60 million on him?
But it's just, I mean, the Warriors just paid Jimmy the 60 something million.
Knock on wood, but he's been great so far. That's okay. He's decently healthy right now, sort of. I don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I assume like the Hornets or someone random will, of course, like no one's gonna get Joel Embiid. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he can go play with Miles Bridges in prison. I mean, he doesn't need to go to prison, but like if he wants to go do some community service at the local prison with Miles Bridges, then I think he should. Get those community service hours up.
Sorry. Adios.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. But Quentin Grimes did amazing after being traded away. He had 30 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. So go him. I love you, Quentin Grimes. I'm sorry you were traded away from the Mavs, but at least now they look dumb because he played so well. They look dumber, I should say.
Yeah. Speaking of the Mavs get the win against the Warriors. The first loss in Jimmy Butler's Golden State tenure. Can we talk about Buddy Hield for a second?
No. Sure can't. Sure can't.
Do you want to hear a cute little stat?
No. Go ahead. I'm plugging my ears.
In Buddy Hield's first 7 games, he had 6 games with 20 or more points.
I know this stat. Yeah.
Oh, and he's had 1 since.
I don't know why I'm
cheesing. He was my 6th man of the year pick. Back when he was
I have his jersey. I believed in him.
Yeah. You could see that Steph and Draymond were not having it last night.
So I'm guessing you watched the game last night, right?
Yeah. I watched most of it.
So how do I put this? This team, the Warriors team, the only people I have ever really like seen them yell at, the vets, is like Pods, but it's because Pods is charged by that and he's very coachable. Like you can scream in Pod's face and tell him what he needs to do and he'll pout and stomp off, but he'll adjust and he'll figure it out. And then you're fine after the game because he wants to be better and he likes to learn. And so that's like, I don't know why it's like always him. He's like the bad dog that they always yell at. And he adjusts and stuff. But like Buddy Hield has made several people in the past few weeks, like several players come out of the woodworks and like be pissed off. Like he's not getting to his spots. Like they'll be like running plays or running a different sort of offense and he won't be running it right. He won't be getting to a spot. He'll go somewhere else. He'll miss his pass. He'll have an open shot and then hesitate and then like make a bad pass or shoot a stupid shot instead after he hesitates. Like he's just been, his decision making has absolutely plummeted. Like I might get him tested for COVID, the sneezes, memory loss.
The thing is when you're a player that is supposed to be an offensive player and like you're not a defensive player, when you're a non-defensive player who's not creating any offense, not great. You know,
it hurts so bad.
Yeah. And I think this was just, I was shocked that the Mavs won, but I mean, it was kind of small ball against small ball.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say.
Went off.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's a hard part is like, so, you know, and this is so typical Warriors is that the Mavs had like 8 people out with injuries and the Warriors had Jonathan Kuminga out. And first of all, that's embarrassing. Okay. So like the Warriors have no excuse in that sense to even be that close to the Mavs in this situation with how many people are out and hurt, especially because what a good matchup for the Warriors to not have a big.
Yeah.
Like the Warriors have never really had a true big and the Mavs come out here with no front court. Like this is prime Warriors territory. Like they should have gone out there and killed it. But like Steph Curry only had 12 points throughout like 3 quarters and then scored like 13 in like the 4th quarter or the 3rd quarter, something crazy like that. And so first of all, it's very frustrating as a fan. Like, and I get that it's like Steph Curry and that's what he does. He was clutch player of the year last year. He's a very incredible clutch player. Like obviously if you need a last shot, Steph Curry's going to be the only one to get the ball. I say that, but you know, they've shot up plays for Draymond before. Or written up plays for Draymond before. So it's so frustrating when Steph is playing bad and we fall so far behind. Yeah. And then he randomly starts playing good in the last 6 minutes of the game. And then we catch up and we're so close and then we don't win. But it's like
the Nuggets don't have a guy that's done shit like that.
Never done that.
Man, that's crazy. Sucks to be
weird,
the Warriors.
Right? Losers.
Jamal Murray would never do that.
He could never. He could never only shoot the last shot. But that's like, that was really frustrating for me. And everyone knows, like, I'm Steph Curry's freaking biggest fan. I swear to God, I would have like a shrine of him. Not actually, but like, I love him. He's my favorite player, second favorite player, tied for first with Nikola Jokic. Let's be honest here. But like, one of my favorite people to watch in the entire world. He's a guy that exudes joy. He's an incredible 3-point shooter. I modeled my basketball play after him, like when I was in high school, and someone that I've always loved and admired. So I'm not sitting here shitting on him. I don't think Steph is washed, but it is really frustrating as a fan that he decides to just show up in clutch time sometimes. And we're kind of like crawling our way back, as opposed to like if he would just play his game the entire game, we would be way closer and we wouldn't need to be crawling back from 20 down, you know? And have you heard about Draymond getting a notice from the league?
No.
Okay, so we all know Draymond, right? Everyone knows that Draymond is a hothead. Draymond, has gotten suspended and I know, right? Gasp, surprise.
My
He's had
jaw
to go to
is on the
freaking therapy. I know, I am so shocked. But he has, I feel like, been doing way better this year. He's been normal Draymond in the sense that like he still has like the passion and the fire, and he's still as hypey as always, and he plays, I would say like aggressive, but like not in like an actual like punch you in the face kind of way. He's an aggressive defender and he plays really physical defense and stuff. He hasn't even been getting like an excessive amount of texts. He hasn't been getting in a bunch of fights. He's had no flagrant fouls, nothing like that, at least recently. And the league literally sent him a notice saying, you're playing way too aggressive. This is your warning. And he literally said that like they didn't even like expand. They didn't tell him how he was playing too aggressive, what he did to play too aggressive.
Oh,
like
okay.
Nothing. And so he's like, I don't know what that means for me. Like I'm a physical basketball player. Like that's
what do you want me to do?
Yeah, he was like the only way that I've been
people
playing.
out this year. What do you want me to do?
Literally, I'm not punching people. I'm not choking people out. I'm not cussing at refs this year. Like, come on. And that's what he said. He's like, I didn't realize that like me being locked in and me being in go win mode was too aggressive for the league. He's like, I haven't been doing anything. Like I'm just playing. Like he's a depoy. Like he plays that kind of defense. That's who he is. So I thought that was hilarious that they literally were like, you better calm down with those arguments.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I wanted to talk about the Mavs end a little bit because the Mavs obviously have everyone out essentially. And they've got Kyrie now. Kyrie had 42 points. Insane. Okay, but Kyrie played 40 minutes. So I think I worry the most because it's like the Mavs, got the win. Max Christie, though, amazing pickup for Dallas.
Shout out to my guy.
For Max Christie, I think. Like he's obviously already getting more playing time. He had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He has been incredible, like ever since he started. He's just been consistent in all of his games so far. Like 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists the other night, 23, 2 and 2. He's been great for them.
Comfortable on this team.
Yes, he fits in really, really well, and he's getting like an opportunity that I don't think he was going to be afforded in LA. Just like the time, the minutes. But I like obviously Mavs, like you play against, Golden State, like you're going to have the chance to get the win when you're out Gafford and Lively and AD, like you have a chance because they're small ball. The thing is though, like Kyrie can do things like that, but like once you get to the playoffs, playing like if they're going to have to, if they want to make the playoffs, play him like that, like this whole probably final stretch. If they want to win, and that's kind of what Nuggets had to do, they were chasing the 1 seed last year, and then we were exhausted in playoffs. So I kind of worry about that with the Mavs. Like if they're trying so hard, to stay in the play-in or, make the playoffs, you're going to run
fight
Kyrie
for their position just to hang on.
And Kyrie's older, obviously, for the NBA. He's older for the NBA, and he's not always healthy. He's usually out. He really is every few weeks for like 4 games or so, with like a weird tweak or something. So I really worry about if the Mavs and like don't get everyone back like in the next month or so, what happens to that team? Like where they go.
And especially even if they do get everyone back, like it's still really close to playoff time. And so can you keep that team chemistry, like that on-court team chemistry? Will things,
and like,
still
the guys
fall
that have been
into
sitting out
place?
aren't in game shape. Like, and especially when
you're
get
going
to
straight into the playoffs like that.
When you are playing 40 minutes a game, you are shortening your rotation. So that's like, I have a big question mark with the Mavs because when everyone's healthy and in shape, of course we saw like a blip of, almost everyone and it looked great. But I really worry, and then we can move on to the other end of the trade because now that they're going to be talked about together forever.
And I
Lakers?
just, before we even like jump into the Lakers losing to the Jazz, I do just want to throw this in about the stupid refs of the Warriors and Mavs game. I've never seen a game like this before. 5 overturned calls, like not that they were challenged, nothing like that. Like they decided to go and look at these calls that they made to overturn them, like just on their own. A couple were challenges that were the most asinine calls in the entire world. All 5 of them went to benefit the Mavs. I've never seen that before, where they literally had 5 calls just be overturned on the court right there to benefit another team. Like I'm talking, one was a freaking kicked ball. The guy literally punted the ball with his leg and they didn't call it. And they called it like out on the fucking Warriors. And Kyrie Irving was literally in the air moving during a charge that he took, and they called it a block, and then they overturned it to a charge because they were like, no way, he was set. His feet were literally off the ground and like moving backwards. No, he was not. So many calls like that, 5 of them. And so when you're like down 1 with a couple minutes left in the game, like those calls impact the game, and you're sitting here overturning every single one of them to benefit the Mavs.
Yeah, looks.
Did you have money on the Mavs, refies? And I'm not saying that the Warriors deserve to win or that they would have won, just because, like I said, Steph Curry had a rough game. A lot of guys on that team had a really, really, really crappy first 3 quarters. The team didn't show up till the 4th. So I'm not saying that like they lost us the game, but those are really important calls, and it has been happening so many times, not just to the Warriors, but to several other teams. Get your shit together, refs. I'm over it.
They never will. Was Ben Taylor officiating? Probably.
No, it was James Gucci Mane Williams, and he hates the Warriors, hates them, which is part of the reason that everyone, I mean, he literally was the one overturning the calls. Like, and he's always had a thing out for the Warriors. So I don't know. It was super fishy. It was a really crappy way. Like I would so much rather lose the game ethically than like have the refs handing it over. Like the Mavs were probably going to beat us anyway. You don't have to like miss blatant kicked balls when a guy punts. Literally, Spencer, his leg was out like this. His leg was off the ground 3 feet in the air, kicked out, and he punted the ball.
You can't miss those calls in close games.
No, when there's 2 minutes left in a 1-point game, like absolutely not. Like, and it happened literally multiple times. So, like I said, I'm not taking away from the Mavs win. The Mavs had literally 90% of their team out, and they came out and they beat a Warriors team with a lot of great players. I'm not going to say a good Warriors team. A Warriors team with a lot of really great players. They came out and they did it, so shout out to them, but F the refs. Anyway, on to Lakers.
We are sick of you. Yeah, on to the Lakers. We'll talk about them quick because we have to go. But yeah, Lakers lose to the Jazz. Really awkward after they came out and whooped the Jazz at first. And then you get whooped by the Jazz are trying to lose. Like the Jazz are actively tanking. They are tanking.
Purpose.
On purpose. And
it was so bad.
I feel like Luka is still not like
he's not
mentally there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like even Dalton Connect or whatever. I mean, obviously he was just like an after part of that trade and obviously got rescinded. But even Dalton Connect literally was saying that he wants to like be benched and not play because he's still trying to kind of like process everything.
He played last night. And
yes,
he
so
got
true.
like
a couple nights ago it was
10 points or
I
something.
can look for you.
He missed like
had 10 points and 1 steal. He played 17 minutes.
But yeah, Luka, like, I mean, again, I didn't think he was going to be over it. And again, I'm not going to judge like a brand new team. Honestly, like we kind of said with Karl Anthony Towns, who's been balling lately, is that, you know, you almost need like 10 to 15 games before you can really judge like
to get comfortable.
How a team, you know, learn a new team's offense and defense and all the terminology and how you work with other players. But it was so obvious, you know, the Mavs, the Lakers, got a buyout guy, literally, what's his name? I always forget his name.
Which one?
The buyout guy, the center that they got, the Lakers. What's his name?
Oh, Alex Len?
Yeah, in the year we've got Alex Len. Didn't think I'd hear that name ever again. He was terrible. He did nothing.
He's yeah, if you don't know, he's been like not really in the league. He's like been a free agent, kind of like hopping around.
He's been around.
Not really having a place in the league for a couple of years now. So that's been kind of, rough for him. And then he hops onto this Lakers team and they're just like, by the way, you're our starting center. You're going to get big minutes. Play like AD. And he was like, no.
Yeah.
No. He had 4 points, 7 rebounds. And let me find. Let me find the last thing. He had 4.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. Was a -9 in 22 minutes playing.
He got
Charlie Brown
several times.
Christmas tree, ass, front court, period. And the hard part is because like a lot of people are like, oh, what's wrong with Luka? What's wrong with the Lakers? Well, first of all, Luka's entire life was just upended. Luka's not going to start playing like Luka until he gets comfortable.
Luka was also out for a month. Like he
was literally out for like a month and a half. He hadn't played since Christmas Day, people. Okay?
Yeah.
Like
cut the guy some slack.
Cut it out, okay?
He would have done the same thing on the Mavs. I assure you, he was not going to be perfect and come in and drop 70 the first 2 games back from being injured.
Totally. Yep. And that's just like, and the thing is like, the way that I was kind of like explaining it is that the Lakers have an awesome backcourt, and then obviously they have LeBron James. Like you have LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka. Like what a phenomenal group of offensive players, of facilitators, of great ball IQ guys, but they're not defensive menaces. None of them. And a lot of the times, a lot of teams find their defensive menaces. They usually, they're not all teams are like OKC where like every guy in your starting lineup is like one of the best defensive players in the league. A lot of the times you usually have like a good rim protector and then a really good perimeter defender to be able to defend each game their best, backcourt player and their best front court player. Yeah. That's normally what teams will have, like just in general. And Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen just worked the Lakers front. I'm going to put front court in quotes because Charlie Brown Christmas tree ass front court. It is so bad. It is so weak. So bad. Weak. And they worked them all night.
Yeah. Poor. No. I'm honestly, I'll smile. I'll smile at the Lakers downfall any day of the week. I was like, poor. Oh, wait. The only person I feel bad for is Luka in this situation. Wait. So, yeah, Lakers. Listen, if the Lakers get against the Nuggets, I certainly am not concerned. No one is doing anything to Jokic in that series. Yeah. But yeah, I have to go back to the job that pays me. So that is our, recap of all like the main things. We didn't get to talk about the Knicks winning to the Hawks in OT, but shout out to Trae Young. He was a baller and had
incredible.
Like literally single-handedly got them back in that game and had 19 assists last night. He is a phenomenal passer and has been all season. So I'm giving him a shout out. But thank you guys so much for being here.
Mini shout out to JB for the game winner, but that's it.
And Karl Anthony Towns, you've been balling out. You've, he's going to be all NBA second team probably just because you have like Jokic and all Giannis and all those people. Maybe
I'm going to get a cat. I'm going to get a cat as a pet and name it Cat with a K.
I love that, even though no one will know that it's spelled with a K unless you're typing
come here,
about
K.
It.
Wait, come here, Cat with a K. That's how I'll say it.
Oh, okay, good.
Anyway, I hate it. It's fine.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Go back and you can go back and watch some of our recent videos. Now that we're on All-Star break, well, there's a few games tonight and then we're on All-Star break. We're excited to watch all the things. We'll probably do like a recap or something. If anything exciting happens, who knows? Maybe not. The players don't want to be there. Jokic certainly doesn't. But
I'm dead.
Yeah. Anything to say?
Love us and say nice things and share us with your therapist, your doctor, your dentist. Let them know if anyone likes sports. You
Send them on over.
The link, okay? You give it to them. That's what she said. Like, comment, subscribe, love us, whatever. We love you. We're so happy to be here, and we're so happy that you're here. And we will see you guys probably early next week for some All-Star Weekend shiz.
Adios.